Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Burns number 1459-US32D. This is a 3.5 by 5 satin stainless steel flush pole. Very common and typical ubiquitous flush pole that you're going to see in commercial applications. This is a 3.5 by 5 with an 1.75 by 3 1/8 opening and a 7/8 depth. We're going to go over all the dimensional properties. This is not ADA compliant, so if you need one that's ADA compliant, we'll talk about that in a moment. This is not the item. The 1459 is representative of the fact that this is a flush pole in these dimensions. The 32D means stainless steel. It means a couple things. The base material is solid stainless. The finish is brushed, or a satin finish on solid stainless steel material. Now, there's a link below this video to a document called installation, and by the way, screws are included. They look like they're a number 6 by 1 oval head Phillips drive sheet metal screws. Okay, so there's a link below this video to the document called installation. That will give you the important dimensional properties of the item, and let's go over it now. 3.5 by 5. They've got a depth. Well, they've got a depth of 7/8 from the underside of the face plate. You can see there's a little bit of variance in that. It's closer to 7/8 with the faceplate. Obviously, well, non-handed. You can install it for a left-hand door, or you can install it for a right-hand door. It's going to work either way. Very nice quality item. Now the 1459, that's certainly going to be available in different finishes as well from Burns. That will be lots. US 10 satin bronze, US 10B oil rub bronze, US 26 polished chrome, US 26D satin chrome, US 3 polished brass, US 4 satin brass. And all that's going to be on a solid brass base material. You can do this. They don't list it in polished stainless, but I'm sure that they could do it. They also list it in a 32D MS, which is an antimicrobial coating. To say that it's all the rage in hospitals would be a contrite way of saying it's ubiquitous in hospitals, and it's a very good idea. Studies show how it works significantly towards retarding the spread of bacteria and other things that are on hardware. When you really think about how often this material is touched by a variety of different people at different times, and how maybe unsure it is that the exact hardware is being cleaned. Who knows? That antimicrobial coating is very, very popular, very common. So the installation of this material, super simple and straightforward. I am a fan of using a router and a template for that matter. If I had more than just a couple of these, I would take time. I would make myself a wooden template. I would make that template such that I just had to flush it to the edge of the door. If I really wanted to be lazy, I might make it so that I flush it to the bottom or to the top of the door, or at least give myself a center line, drop my router in, and quickly make short work of preparation for this sort of hardware. The truth of the matter is, given the margin between the outside face and the box, especially here, top and bottom, and here, you could probably get away without even squaring the corners, at least on 2 of the corners, based on how you route that sort of material. If you're going to do it otherwise, then just pick your tool of choice, I suppose, but a router is the way that I like to do it. Set the stop on the router so that you've got the proper depth all the time sort of situation happening. Before you go machining anything, you're probably going to want to take an audit of the other locks, doors, flush poles that are in the space. Here's a scenario. You've got a long hallway of office doors. Well, on this side you've got some sliding doors, and this side you've got some sliding doors. It can be a closet for storage of coats or office supplies. You want that line of sight to be consistent. So I think it's a good idea to make the center line of this flush pole match everything else. So look at that before you machine anything. I like to have that nice line of sight. The back set, there's no hard and fast rule about it in terms of how far off the edge of the door, but you're going to want to maintain something that will be akin to a 2 3/4 back set scenario, because the overall width of the 3.5 faceplate is pretty similar to the width of the diameter of a rosette on a commercial grade lock. At least that's kind of what I use as a guideline. The mortise outline is there. They want 2 13/16 wide, 3 3/4 high, and 7/8 deep. The 7/8 depth, we know that's going to be accurate. The height, 3 3/4. Yeah, I'd say you'd be in real good shape with 3 3/4. I might tighten that up a little bit because that's a ½ inch larger than necessary. 2 13/16. Yeah, that's. I would I'd say that would be more accurate. That allows a 1/4 inch from what I'm measuring here at 2 and, pardon me, it allows about a 1/4 inch, maybe 3/16. I'm going to say that 3 3/4 on the installation is way too much. I'd be more looking at it at 3.5 inch. So, reality check before you cut. You might have, ribbon sliced sapele on a door, and you want to measure it first. So, moving on, there is a link below this video to a document called Product Brochure. That's very handy from Burns because it will allow you to review their offering of flush pulls, is the bottom line. That document is loaded up for me. 1459 is listed there in that chart below, and it will give you all of the related items in terms of how the sizes change. Now, we've discussed the installation, but now we're going to talk about that 1450 or that 1451 barrier-free version so that you're going to get handicap compliance. Really what's going to change there is the opening height and width. It's going to give you that return back so that a hand can better clamp onto the sliding aspect of a door. Very common sorts of items, and the difference therein being is one is going to have surface screws like this does. The other will have bolts that will go through the back side of the door. Speaking of these surface screws, you can also do the 1459 is going to be available as a 1459C for concealed screws as well. If you have a condition that the heads of screws being exposed is not desirable, either for aesthetics or maybe all the way up to an application where someone might try to tamper with the hardware, maybe a halfway home or maybe a timeout area where you just need to have concealed hardware, Burns can accommodate that. Now, speaking of Burns accommodating, that is what they do best. Not only is their hardware quite excellent, but accommodating the client, they really excel at. They have comparatively a smaller footprint. They focus on trim and auxiliary hardware, and they do that very well. Their customer service is excellent. Their technical support is even better. Their prompt, reliable shipping lead time stands on top of all of that. There's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up the entire line of Hiawatha products that we sell, a link to the manufacturer's website, along with a link to the full product catalog. If you're doing a small or a large project, I wholeheartedly suggest that you review Hiawatha. If you're doing a large project, order a sample from them and throw it into the mix and see how it, along with price, compares to the other possibilities. If you have any questions on the Hiawatha 1459 and a 32D finish, flush pull, or any other Hiawatha product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you very much.